Chrome has a really cool new extension that can tell if your passwords have been compromised. So, as you know, several websites have been compromised in the past. Ashley Madison, not like we use that. The Marriott hotels,
Yeah.
Harvey's, Carl's Jr., all these places have been compromised. And actually, Google has a database of all of the known passwords that have been compromised. And
Oh, I didn't know
so
that.
there are actually websites you can go to and you can type in your password to see if it's
Hmm.
been compromised. However, I have been too smart and savvy to go and type in my
Type
password.
in my password. Yes.
All you have to do is type in your password and we'll let you know. So I've never actually used one of those websites, but I've
Yeah.
seen that out there. Google, pretty trustworthy company. Their motto used to be do no evil. They
Yeah.
have a new Chrome extension that will allow you to see if your passwords have been compromised. Now,
Without typing in your password.
well, I mean, technically you are typing in your password. So if you're
Yeah.
on a website like your bank's website, or if you're on Gmail or wherever, it will
Ah,
type in the password and it will come up red and say your password has been compromised and it will tell you when and where. And so
okay.
that's kind of a cool thing because then you can use Google, which is a pretty trustworthy company, to find out if your password stinks. Here's the thing about passwords. I know you guys, you're using your email address as your username and you're using the same password for every website, whether it's your bank, whether it's Ticketmaster, the Weather Network. I don't care where you're going.
Carl's Jr. card. Yeah.
Yeah, you're at McDonald's buying French fries with their new app for $1. You're
Yeah.
using the same password, right? And so this is kind of a really cool way to find out if that password's been compromised, because if it has, they basically know your email address
Yeah.
and will be able to log on to your Spotify, your Apple Music, whatever you're using.
So
Um,
Dan, I have a
yeah,
question for you on that. I have mixed feelings about this. Number one is I think it's great. I think I trust Google more than most companies out there. I think in our last podcast I said, well, I trust Samsung, I trust Apple, and I trust Google. Those are probably the three big companies that I trust the most with my data. Facebook's fallen off of that due to the recent scandals, but even Google has been hacked, right? So I got some interesting stats here on companies that have been hacked. But to go along with that first thought, my mixed feelings is, yeah, I trust Google, but on the other hand, this extension that they've got that tells me if it's been hacked, that's still sensitive information that's flowing in and out of the universe, like wherever I am, whether I'm on my phone and it's checking, right? Like it just seems like one more way that somebody can get my passwords. So I will admit I'm a little bit nervous about it, but I do like the fact that it will auto tell me according to their database. So you ready
yeah.
to
And I
yeah,
mean, you're right to be concerned because, like you said, it is just another way for your password to be compromised. And it really depends on you. I mean, do you trust Google? And
yeah.
I don't know, maybe you do, maybe you don't. I'll tell you one thing, I would trust Google over Yahoo
Yes.
or, you know, but if you feel uncomfortable with that first step, that's fine with me. It's just one way to find out if your password's been compromised. Look, if it is compromised, it's just what you're going to do is you're going to change your password.
Sure.
So really, if you just want to skip this step, simply change your password to something unique. Maybe throw in some numbers and characters that you haven't used before and change it for every site.
Do you want
And
to
if you
yeah.
can, use a different one for every site. But the problem is tracking all of them.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that brings me on to the next phase. Do you really trust a password keeper?
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about that too. So, password keepers, they're making lots of money. They've been out for quite a while. A lot of the websites that I've looked at when it comes to cybersecurity actually recommend these password keepers. And there's different types of password keepers. There's the free ones, and it makes you ask the question, right? If it's free, I'm the commodity. What do they get out of me? Is it just the ads I have to look at when I use it? Or is it more, right?
Perhaps they're tracking where you're going. Like, oh, he's using Facebook a lot. Now he's going to Amazon. And even though they can't tell what you're buying on Amazon, they know what you're spending your time doing. I'm really not too sure, but honestly, I don't trust a password keeper.
Hmm.
And just like Marriott getting hacked, these password keepers can get hacked too.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought too, right? So let me just run through some of the hacks. I did a little bit of research for 2018, and this was on Data Privacy Day. I didn't even know we had a Data Privacy Day, but there was a whole bunch of articles that came out last week on it. So here we go. 2018, 1,244 publicly reported data breaches in the United States. So that's the ones that were publicly reported. What about the secret ones? Right? And what I mean by secret ones, the ones that weren't reported, there are a lot. Like even Facebook didn't admit that they were hacked. Even Google didn't admit they were hacked until they were called out on it.
Well, and what about if you just don't know if you were hacked?
Yeah, like
What if
what
the
about
hacker's so
the
smart that they close all
yeah.
the doors and you don't know?
So here's what they published. Of those 1,244 reported breaches, there are a total of 446 million records that were taken. Now that's according to the Identity Theft Resource Center. And like we said, that only covers the ones that we know about. So companies been collecting our data for years, and criminals are stealing that data. So it's right, like why would you hack Carl's Jr.? Right? Like, why would you do that? What kind of information are you going to get from Carl's Jr.? Well, maybe that's worth something,
Well, it's
right?
people's emails, addresses, and I'm sure they're using the same passwords all the time.
Right. Exactly. Just like you were talking about. If you're using the same password for your Carl's Jr. app, then, they can have access to your emails, your cryptocurrencies, right? Like all of these things. So here's some more interesting information. So Troy Hunt, who's a data breach expert, found that there were 773 million login credentials posted publicly. So these are people who have hacked that information and posted it publicly. Now, this might be some of the database that you were just saying that Google will search to see if that password's been exposed. So in 2018, there were some big ones. We've already talked about some of them, right? So we talked about Facebook, 30 million accounts. 30 million accounts. British Airways, 429,000 credit cards got stolen. Marriott, 500,000 passport numbers got taken. And this doesn't include the Cambridge Analytica scandal that Facebook had, because that was legit. That wasn't a hack. That was a here you go. Take all
Right.
this information.
That's crazy, Matt. Well, maybe just don't use any of these sites that are helping your password, including the Chrome extension. I take it back. Don't use it.
Don't
Okay.
use it. But I want to know.